Attraction isn't built on tricks, clever lines, or manipulative tactics. It's about something far deeper. True attraction is born from creating meaningful connections, the kind that leave a lasting impression long after the moment has passed. Yet, so many men make the mistake of focusing on the outside, flashy actions, exaggerated behaviors, or trying too hard to impress. They believe the louder they shine, the more magnetic they become. But here's the truth. Real attraction begins within. It's about mastering the subtleties, the quiet confidence in your presence, the unspoken intrigue of mystery, the calm assurance, even in silence. Imagine the difference. Would you rather chase attention endlessly or have it naturally gravitate toward you? In this video, we'll uncover 7 powerful ways to spark an irresistible kind of attraction that doesn't rely on games, tactics, or begging for approval. These timeless principles will help you connect authentically, enhance your relationships, and leave an impression that lingers. We'll dive into everything from the art of presence through something as simple yet profound as eye contact to the power of subtle challenges that ignite curiosity. You'll see how a touch of mystery, when you hold back just enough, can keep her intrigued and drawn closer. And yes, even silence, often overlooked, can become one of the most effective tools in deepening connection and attraction. These ideas aren't modern gimmicks. They're rooted in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Stoicism teaches self-mastery, emotional strength, and a deep understanding of human nature. Real attraction isn't about what you do on the surface, but who you are at your core. When you shift away from seeking constant validation and instead focus on mastering yourself, you'll notice how effortlessly authentic connections begin to form. So let's begin this journey into the principles that can transform not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. And the first step, understanding the power of non-physical attraction. Non-physical attraction is often overlooked, yet it's one of the most powerful forces in human connection. It goes far beyond appearances. It's not about a man's face or physique, it's about the way he carries himself, the energy he radiates when he walks into a room. A man who moves with quiet composure, locks eyes with steady confidence, and speaks with certainty draws attention without even trying. His calm presence signals emotional strength and stability, qualities that women instinctively notice and respect. But don't confuse confidence with arrogance or dominance. True confidence is grounded in self-awareness. It's about being at ease in your own skin. A confident man doesn't chase attention, he attracts it. He knows his worth, and that assurance shines through in ways no words or gestures can fully capture. And beyond confidence lies another essential quality: emotional intelligence. A man who listens with patience, shows genuine empathy, and understands the emotions of others creates a bond that resonates far deeper than surface-level attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men who demonstrate emotional maturity, those who ask thoughtful questions, engage in meaningful conversation, and truly listen without cutting in. These simple yet powerful behaviors reveal respect, sincerity, and genuine interest, laying the foundation for deeper, lasting connections. Mystery isn't about being cold or distant, it's about leaving just enough unsaid to spark curiosity. A man who doesn't lay all his cards on the table immediately creates a subtle air of intrigue. He allows others the space and time to discover who he really is, layer by layer. This quiet restraint draws people in, making them eager to know more. Have you ever noticed how the less someone reveals, the more you find yourself leaning in, wanting to understand the depths they haven't yet shared? That's the magnetic pull of mystery. This sense of enigma builds anticipation. It makes every interaction feel richer, more meaningful. But mystery alone isn't enough. Alongside confidence, emotional intelligence, and intrigue, one quality is absolutely essential: authenticity. A man who dares to be himself flaws and all stands out in a world filled with pretense. Authenticity attracts because it signals comfort with one's true identity. He doesn't need to pretend, to exaggerate, or to hide behind superficial traits to gain approval. Instead, he embraces his individuality, allowing his real personality to shine through. Authenticity has a unique power. It encourages openness, honesty, and vulnerability. It's the quiet invitation that says, "You can trust me. You can be yourself here." Women are naturally drawn to this kind of energy because it creates familiarity, comfort, and a deeper bond that surface charm can never replicate. And then there's respect and presence, the final layers of non-physical attraction. A man who respects others, shows kindness, and offers his full attention transforms even the simplest interaction. Respect isn't loud. It's felt in the way he listens, the way he values the moment, the way he makes others feel important. Presence, too, isn't about dominating a room, it's about being fully there. When a man holds steady eye contact, listens without distraction, and even allows moments of stillness in conversation, something powerful happens. The other person feels truly seen, truly heard. His energy fills the space not with noise, but with focus, with calm strength, non-physical attraction. Then, is not a single trait, it's the blend of confidence, authenticity, emotional intelligence, mystery, respect, and presence. In a world where physical appearance so often steals the spotlight, men who embody these deeper qualities naturally stand apart. They leave behind connections that resonate long after the first meeting has ended. Validation means acknowledging her feelings, her desires, and her perspectives without brushing them aside or making them feel small. When you show her that her emotions matter, both in moments of strength and in times of uncertainty, you send a powerful message. I respect you for who you are, and respect is the foundation of trust. But listening and validating alone aren't enough. Truly making someone feel seen requires that you go deeper into the emotions behind the words. It's not just about hearing what she says, it's about recognizing what she feels. This happens when you ask thoughtful, open-ended questions, the kind that invite reflection and open doors into her inner world. Imagine asking, "What are you most passionate about?" Or, "What matters most to you right now?" These simple yet profound questions encourage her to share the parts of herself that often remain hidden, creating intimacy and a stronger emotional connection. Eye contact is another key to this deeper connection. When you hold her gaze not in a way that feels overpowering or uncomfortable, but steady and genuine, you communicate attentiveness. It's a quiet yet powerful way of saying, "I'm here, I'm listening, and what you're sharing matters to me." In those moments, she feels not only heard, but valued, important, and safe in your presence. And above all, authenticity ties it all together. Being genuine means your words and actions align, and you're not hiding behind masks or false personas. Women are naturally drawn to men who are self-aware, men who can own their flaws as much as their strengths. When you embrace your true self, you give her permission to do the same. Authenticity opens the door to trust, intimacy, and a connection that feels real rather than forced. In the end, making her feel truly seen isn't just about validation or attention, it's about creating a bond built on mutual respect, empathy, and understanding. When you achieve this, you form a connection that goes beyond the surface and becomes something lasting. And this brings us to the next powerful principle, the art of subtle challenge. This is where attraction takes on a deeper dimension. A subtle challenge isn't about confrontation or control, it's about striking the delicate balance between sparking growth and maintaining intrigue. When done with care, a subtle challenge doesn't pressure someone to conform or force change. Instead, it nudges them gently towards self-awareness and reflection. It plants small seeds of thought, sparks curiosity, and invites exploration without overwhelming the other person. Think of it as guiding, rather than pushing, leading with inspiration instead of force. For example, instead of giving advice outright, you might ask, "What do you think about that?" Or "How would you approach this differently?" These types of questions hand the responsibility back to her, encouraging her to reflect and draw her own conclusions. Isn't it far more powerful when insight comes from within, rather than being imposed from the outside? Patience is another crucial part of this process. True growth takes time, and the most meaningful challenges often unfold gradually. Subtle challenge isn't about quick results, it's about creating a safe space where curiosity thrives and self-discovery takes root. Equally important is the tone and approach. Delivered with arrogance, challenge can feel harsh and dismissive, but offered with empathy and gentleness, it becomes an invitation to expand. Sometimes, simply pointing out a perspective she may not have considered without dismissing her current view can create a shift that feels natural, not forced. And that's the beauty of the subtle challenge. When balanced with empathy and patience, it inspires growth while deepening attraction. Think of it like planting a seed. Instead of ripping out everything someone believes, you place a small question in their mind, a question that, over time, blossoms into subtle challenges thrive in those quiet moments when a person is left to reflect. For instance, asking something as simple as, "Have you ever considered how your actions impact others?" can spark curiosity and invite deeper thought. It's not about confrontation, It's about creating space for insight to grow naturally. This process works because it gives others the freedom to arrive at their own conclusions. There's no sense of pressure, no feeling of being manipulated. Instead, it honors the truth that real growth always comes from within. Subtle challenges respect this inner journey, trusting that when the time is right, people will discover their own lessons. When you focus on encouraging awareness instead of imposing change, the connection between you and the other person deepens. Growth becomes a shared journey, something that transforms not just one individual, but the relationship as a whole. And here's the beauty. Subtle challenges also cultivate humility and confidence. A man who can challenge with respect, calmness, and quiet self-assurance displays a kind of strength that doesn't need to shout. It's a strength that women instinctively recognize and admire. Confidence, after all, isn't about loud declarations. It's about walking your path with certainty, without needing to prove yourself. By offering subtle challenges, you remind someone of their own potential, while staying unattached to the outcome. You're not controlling, and you're not demanding, you're simply creating the conditions for growth. That's why the art of subtle challenge is so powerful. It nurtures curiosity, fosters self-awareness, and when done with respect creates lasting transformation for both people involved. And this naturally leads us to the next essential principle: mastering the power of tone and language. This is one of the most overlooked, yet most influential aspects of attraction and connection. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. Your words carry weight, but the energy, intention, and presence behind them often matter even more. A man who speaks with calmness, confidence, and control instantly stands out, because those qualities are felt in every syllable. Women, often on a subconscious level, notice these subtle cues in tone and language, and they read them as signals of stability, strength, and intrigue. One of the key aspects of mastering tone lies in learning to slow down. Speaking with deliberate pacing and a steady, slightly lower voice conveys composure and confidence. When you allow your words to flow with intention rather than rushing, your tone takes on depth and authority. Each pause, each breath, adds weight to your presence, making it impossible to ignore. Now picture the opposite: someone speaking too quickly, stumbling over words, or filling every silence with nervous chatter. Those habits don't communicate confidence, they reveal insecurity and lack of control. The difference is striking, isn't it? To master tone, practice slowing down. Let your words carry meaning, and don't be afraid of silence. In fact, pausing at just the right moment creates anticipation and draws the other person in. For example, instead of rushing to say, "I really like spending time with you," try pausing first, meeting her eyes, and then saying slowly, "You know, I really enjoy spending time with you." That small pause transforms the message. It feels intentional, thoughtful, and genuine. And while tone sets the rhythm, language itself is just as crucial. The words you choose can either build attraction or weaken it. The words you choose can spark intrigue, invite curiosity, and open the door to deeper bonds. Subtle, suggestive language, without being overtly flirtatious, often carries far more weight than direct compliments. For example, instead of the predictable, "You're interesting," try saying, "There's something about you I can't quite figure out." That small shift adds a layer of mystery, leaving her wondering what it is you truly see in her. Isn't it more captivating when someone keeps you guessing? Equally important is guiding conversations beyond surface chatter. While talking about the weather or daily routines might fill silence, they rarely build real connection. Instead, questions that invite reflection and storytelling can open the door to intimacy. For instance, saying, "I get the feeling you've had experiences most people wouldn't believe. Care to share one?" Not only sparks curiosity, but also signals that you're genuinely interested in who she is beneath the surface. These kinds of questions encourage her to reveal more of herself, creating a conversation that lingers in her memory. Ultimately, mastering tone and language isn't about crafting the perfect line. It's about creating a feeling she can't ignore. A confident, composed man doesn't need to oversell his words, and his presence naturally speaks volumes. And when used with intention, tone and language can transform ordinary moments into unforgettable interactions, leaving behind an impression that resonates long after the conversation ends. And now, we arrive at one of the most underrated, yet incredibly effective tools of attraction: the eyes. Because when it comes to powerful eye contact, the truth is simple: the eyes really do have it. Eye contact conveys confidence, presence, and emotional depth in a way that words often cannot. They've long been called the windows to the soul, and for good reason. Most people rarely experience the feeling of someone truly looking at them, which is exactly why it leaves such a powerful impact. When you maintain steady, confident eye contact, you show that you are fully present and comfortable in your own skin. In her eyes, this signals, "You have my undivided attention." And that sense of focus creates intimacy and importance. But there's a balance to it. The goal is not to stare or make her uncomfortable, but to hold her gaze just a fraction longer than most people would. That small act of patience communicates self-assurance. Contrast this with someone who constantly breaks eye contact, fidgets, or glances at their phone. It can feel dismissive or even disinterested. On the other hand, steady eye contact, paired with a subtle smile, sends the message that you are tuned in, listening deeply, and open to connection. Holding her gaze also builds anticipation. During a natural pause in conversation, maintaining eye contact allows her to feel the weight of your attention. Often, when she looks away, it isn't discomfort, it's the intensity of the moment. And if she glances back to check whether you're still looking, that's a clear sign of curiosity sparked. Eye contact becomes even more powerful in moments of vulnerability or silence. When she shares something personal, don't rush to respond. Simply holding her gaze while she speaks shows that you're present, attentive, and invested in what she's saying. This kind of connection doesn't just make her feel heard, it makes her feel valued. And from here, we move into an even deeper layer of attraction, understanding how subtle gestures and silence itself can communicate more than words ever could. Just as we've seen how steady eye contact can spark trust and intimacy, there's another layer to this connection that takes it even further. Eye contact does more than just show presence. It quietly builds trust while wrapping you in a subtle sense of mystery. It sends the message that you are completely comfortable in your own skin, that you don't need to seek constant validation, and that confidence is magnetic. Instead of over-explaining or trying to impress with words, you let your actions and your presence speak louder than anything you could ever say. In essence, mastering this art of powerful eye contact ensures your presence lingers, leaving her asking herself, what is it about him that feels so different from everyone else? When done well, it turns even the simplest interaction into an unforgettable experience that stays with her long after. And this naturally leads us to the next point. Building mystery. The subtle power of being just out of reach. Building mystery is one of the most underrated yet powerful elements of attraction. But let's be clear, mystery isn't about being cold or distant. Instead, it's about creating just enough space and intrigue that she finds herself wanting more, curious about what lies beneath the surface. When you remain slightly out of reach, she's drawn in, eager to discover who you really are. The secret here is pacing. Reveal too much too soon, and the spark fades into predictability. Most men overshare, thinking it will impress her, but in reality, it robs the moment of intrigue. Once everything is out in the open, there's nothing left for her to wonder about, no room for imagination. Mystery dies, and so does her curiosity. That's why the power of being just out of reach lies in holding back, offering only glimpses. For example, if she asks about your weekend, instead of giving her a long play-by-play, keep it light. A simple, "It was interesting. Maybe I'll tell you about it sometime," is enough to spark her imagination. That single line leaves a door open, inviting her to step in and want to know more. This isn't about playing games. It's about keeping things fresh, dynamic, and engaging. When you show that you lead your own life with independence and purpose, you naturally draw her in. Most men chase validation from women, but when you live guided by your own passions, hobbies, and goals, you stand apart. She begins to wonder what drives him, what makes him so grounded in himself. That curiosity becomes attraction. Another subtle way to build mystery is by leaving conversations on a high note. If you've just shared a great moment, resist the urge to drag it on endlessly. Instead, end it with something like, "I really enjoyed this, but I've got to run. Let's pick this up another time." By stepping away at the right moment, you leave her with anticipation, wanting the next interaction even more. Mystery doesn't mean hiding who you are. It's about revealing yourself slowly, in layers, like turning pages in a book she doesn't want to put down. Each chapter leaves her eager for the next, building a connection that goes deeper than surface-level attraction. And as we move forward, there's another powerful principle that strengthens this foundation even further. When done right, a woman will be drawn to you not because you've drowned her in constant attention or flooded her with endless words, but because she feels there's always something more to uncover. This is the essence of building mystery, keeps her intrigued, captivated, and always leaning in closer, trying to figure out the parts of you that remain just beyond reach. That sense of curiosity ensures your presence lingers in her mind long after the moment has passed, making you unforgettable. And this naturally leads us to the next essential principle: mastering the art of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful, yet frequently underestimated, tools of attraction. Many people fear quiet moments, rushing to fill every pause with unnecessary chatter. But true strength lies in knowing how to embrace silence and use it with purpose. It's not about being distant or awkward, it's about creating space, depth, and meaning. Think about it. In a noisy world where everyone is eager to speak, the man who knows when to remain quiet instantly stands out. Silence speaks volumes. It conveys confidence, composure, and an inner steadiness that words often fail to express. While most men scramble to prove themselves by talking too much, the man who understands silence radiates calm assurance. This is because silence allows connection to grow on a deeper level. Instead of crowding the moment with unnecessary noise, you let her feel your presence, absorb your energy, and reflect on what has already been shared. Imagine pausing just a little longer after she speaks, meeting her gaze, holding it gently, and letting the moment breathe. That pause is powerful. It builds anticipation. It makes her wonder what's coming next. What are you thinking? What is it that you're not saying just yet? It is in those moments of quiet anticipation that true attraction deepens. Silence can communicate more than 1,000 words ever could, and it gives your words greater impact when you finally choose to speak. By embracing silence, you don't just talk, you make every word matter. And as we continue, you'll see how this subtle skill of silence becomes a game changer in making your presence magnetic and unforgettable.